And I'll upgrade Joyce. And we'll get started. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. We have twins joining us tonight, Joyce Barron and Jeanette Chambers, who live on the East Coast, and they've got a great story to tell. Joyce recently went bronze. She is on Jeanette's team, and they've been working very closely together for a while. But they had some pretty cool stuff happen, lots of learning moments, lots of teaching moments. So we're going to go over that because this is a real life experience. You have all these coaching calls where you learn how to do this and you learn how to do that. Well, we're going to teach you from real live experience. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Our pleasure. Yeah, really it is.
So I know you're both working in corporate to some degree. Let's just go over, give everybody a little bit of your background. Joyce, what are you doing for work these days?
I am a client service manager for Contingent Workforce. So I work with global companies across the world on managing their workforce.
Okay, like HR, or how do you manage their workforce?
It's temp labor and contractors. So I manage the invoicing for their time cards. I manage the suppliers to hire the people because it's temp labor. Companies can't hire or fire or coach or counsel or pay because they're not giving them benefits. So I manage all of that. So clients can include KPMG, Facebook, Goldman Sachs. I mean, they're really large accounts.
Large
So
accounts. Yeah, it sounds busy. Sounds important.
that okay, important is good because I'm putting somebody to work, but busy it is.
And Jeanette, what are you doing? You're working in nonprofits, aren't you?
So I work for the University of Rochester's Medical Center, which is considered a nonprofit. And I work in the executive office as an administrative assistant.
Fantastic. And I understand you got to watch the PGA Tour recently and got to witness the hole-in-one that happened.
I did. It was very cool. The whole thing was amazing.
Yes, benefits of the job.
Yeah.
Well, let's get right down to it. So Joyce, tell us the story. You've got somebody on your team who you told me a story. You met him on a dock and he was instrumental in you going bronze. So let's just talk about this special day that you woke up and felt like you had to go on a walk, and just walk us through that story and what happened on that walk.
All right. So I woke up at about 6. I usually a bit dragging at 6 because I'm a night owl. But that day I had to go to the pier. It's a mile away. And I just said, you're going to take a picture at sunrise rising over, because I can see Tampa skyline. And I just had this sense of urgency that I was literally watching the clock because I knew what time I had to leave to be there on time. So I get there, I get set up, I do a little time lapse video. I come off the pier, it was a beautiful sunrise. And this gentleman says, hey, did you get a good photo? And I said, yes, in fact, I did time lapse. We share, I show him how to do it. And really very randomly, he says, hey, by the chance, do you know how to stimulate adrenal glands through reflexology? And I looked around thinking it was Candid Camera, which dates me. But anyhow, I was just like, what are you asking this as a joke? I mean, why would you ask me this question? He said, honestly, I don't know. I was just guided. The questions came to me. I just asked you. So for the next hour and a half, we walked around town talking about Dale Carnegie, adrenal glands, redox molecules.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't stop talking, and we haven't stopped talking every day since. He and his wife, Andrea, his name is Tom Riles, and they're just an amazing couple. They went through the process. I sent the links, gave a little gel sample, and a couple days later, he said, I'm going to try this. And I won't go through his whole story, but he's had amazing results in his first 90 days that it's been amazing. And with that, he's been sharing with friends. So that's where.
And he was trying to correct a blood problem. Isn't that right? Didn't he have too much iron or something wrong with
his body, the bone marrow makes too many red blood cells. And he's been having this for 22 years. He was hoping that would help. in the shorter term, it helped with PSA count, and it helped with the issue of getting up 7 times a night. And within 3 days of just drinking 4 ounces a day, he got up once, which he hadn't done in 6 years. So that alone, he was excited. But since then, just 2 weeks ago, he had his 3rd visit for the oncologist for his blood, and they cannot believe consistently now 3 times in a row, because he goes every 5 weeks, how good his numbers are. The nurses all want to know what he's doing. So
Fantastic.
it's really great. It's been-
Fantastic. So we always call, I mean, I call it a spark of the divine. I really do believe it's a guided mission. And you obviously trusted your gut that morning and said, I'm going on a walk. And by no accident, you met the person you were supposed to meet. And you were a blessing in his life. He
Yeah.
was praying to meet somebody that could give him some answers. And you were that girl that could give him some answers. So
And he has a picture of me coming off the pier even before we met. So that's his background screen on Zoom now. So
oh my gosh, so great, so great. So I looked at your back office before you guys came on the call, and I saw that you sponsored like 28 people or something like that. So you've got, a pretty good team going, right? And so Jeanette, Jeanette and I were talking earlier today, and Jeanette was talking about the ASEA launched the clay mask, and whenever you launch a new product, usually people are wanting to try it, so the volume goes up a little bit. And Jeanette, so let's talk us through how you looking at the computer happened. As Joyce was building her business, she looked at the computer too, but she thought, whatever. So what did you see, Jeanette, versus what Joyce saw?
First, I'm going to let Joyce prime this conversation, because she'll tell you what she saw, and then I'll tell you what I saw.
yeah. So in short, I look at that little dashboard. I look to see I'm binary, I got my left and my right. And then I look at how many Director 300s, and I have none. I'm like, okay, missed it again. I got so trained in my head that I'm a Director 700. And that was the paradigm I lived in. And I didn't realize how much until Jeanette is going to share what she did, because I didn't even bother to look what she looked at. And that was my lesson. So now I've learned, don't look at that front page. So she's going to share what she looked at. And now I'm learning to do the same.
So thank you. So that sets the stage. So you know what she looked at.
Yeah. So I was watching movies, I was like doing other things, not paying attention.
Yeah. I knew that because my phone was really quiet. And as twins, we're usually texting, or there were weeks when she said, I'm going to go bronze. She was saying, let's do this, let's do that, let's call this person. None of that was happening. It was and I thought, wait a minute, this is a week where people are buying. We just had the most amazing announcement with a clay mask, and everyone is scrambling to try this product. Why is she sitting quiet? So it was Friday morning. I always look at my numbers Friday. And I remembered that she had just, Tom had signed on a gentleman who bought the Entrepreneur Pack. And I thought there has to be volume in there. And so what I do is I look, but I go into the Director 300 report. I put in the person's name that I'm looking up, right? I don't keep it my name. So for those of you that don't know that, you can put in someone in your organization and then, click the little magnifying glass, it'll search and you'll see their organization. So that was really important. That's what I do.
So just to clarify, you were not looking at your Director 300 report. You were looking at Joyce's Director 300 report, as if she would if she was looking at her Director 300 report in her back office, she was seeing exactly what you were seeing because you put her name in that report.
Correct. Right. So now I'm seeing that Tom Giles, the one who had volume, personal, preferred customers, he had the Entrepreneur Pack, he was 40 points away, which is why she didn't see it.
He was 40 points away from Director 300.
Correct. Right. And the other person who's usually Director 300. Now, so the key here is Cindy and I was talking about earlier. She had, as Cindy mentioned, associates in there to work with. She's been building this business. She's missed bronze, maybe a little bit here and a little bit there. But she had everything in place. And with a product launch, there's typically volume that just needs to be strategically placed when people on your team are ordering. So there was one, he had all the volume, but he was inactive. He had a wedding in Italy. He had other things going on in life. We all have that. But I needed a product that would make him active. I called, asked permission if I could place it there, because what I had done was I thought, okay, Joyce is stuck. She is stuck at Director 700 in her mind. I could see her beyond. I know she's going to be gold, platinum, diamond. I'm not worried about that, but she had to push through this. So I intentionally did not call her, and I thought, I am going to surprise her on our team call Saturday morning. This is happening. I remember it was 10 a.m. on a Friday, and I thought, this is happening.
So just to clarify, you're looking on her Director 300 report. In order to qualify as a Director 300, you have to be active. You have to be binary qualified. You have to have at least 300 points on your right side and at least 300 points on your left side. And so there were some gaps in the report, but there was also, you weren't seeing the gaps, you were seeing the possibilities. Like, wait a minute, all this guy, he's got the 300 on the right, 300 on the left. He's binary qualified. All he has to do is become active himself, and he'll be one Director 300. And then Tom, he's active, he's binary qualified. He's got 300 points on one side, and he's only missing 40 points on the other side. And he would be her second Director's 300, right? So those were two pieces, because when you go bronze, you have to have 200 personal volume that comes from your own personal purchases, as well as your customer volume. You have to be binary qualified yourself, and you have to have 2 Director 300 legs. That, remember, that comes from the sponsorship tree, not from the binary tree. So it comes from all of the legs that you've personally sponsored. The computer looks all the way down that leg and finds somebody, anybody that qualified to get paid as Director 300 the week you're going bronze. And then that one person qualifies the whole leg. And then the computer looks to the next leg, the next leg, and the next leg, and the next leg. And the other qualification requirement is you have to have 2,000 points on the right side and 2,000 points on the left side. So now Joyce was active. She was binary qualified. You figured with Tom, if there was 40 points placed on one of his legs, he would become a Director 300. And then this other gentleman was going to Italy. His focus was on his son's wedding, not on his ASEA business. So he was inactive that month, but one order there made him her second Director 300. And what about the volume? Did she have the 2,000 on the right team and 2,000 on the left team?
She only needed like another 200. And her team, both our team, her team, but they were within my team, all said, all I need is one clay mask. All I need is another clay mask. There wasn't anything huge. And again, it was because of the product launch. People wanted this product. Nobody was stockpiling anything. It was sincere, organic product ordering. And all they said was, sure, I don't need it. I'll place it under Joyce. No problem. Some of them were preferred customers, and they just said, sure. And that the key was I had put out a text to this group and said, who's in? Joyce is going bronze. And they all said, what do you need? And
there you go. No, let's just do one teaching moment here, because if Joyce is the one going bronze, you don't want to place the orders under Joyce. You want to place them orders under somebody under Joyce, because then the volume rolls up through Joyce, because you know, the personal volume is not the way to go to create the volume. So the best way to do it is to go to the bottom of the leg that you are looking, you know, the bottom of the lesser leg, and place the order, whoever's there, whoever associates at the bottom of that lesser leg, place it under them, because that volume will not only help them, but that volume will trickle all the way up that leg and help everybody in the entire leg. And so it's a win, 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 win all the way around.
And that is one of the teaching points that Joyce and I had during that week, because as people were purchasing their own volume, and they had already met all their qualifications as a leader, you need to have 200 in PV. But then people were ordering again. So some had 500 in PV. And one lesson I learned early on was, once you've met that qualification, exactly what you're talking about, Cindy, then put your own orders at the bottom so it rolls up and everyone benefits. So that was a teaching moment that we had. Is that right, Joyce?
Yeah, because I placed some pretty big orders under me.
For
And-
Mother's Day.
And then Jeanette's like, you did what? You could have been bronze like a day before.
Now, just to
Serious.
clarify how that works, because you get the 200 personal volume will qualify for your qualification, and then the excess personal volume will go to the bottom of the lesser leg. So you didn't lose that volume. It
That's
still
true.
goes to the bottom of the lesser leg.
That's true.
So it's not a problem. You don't
Well,
have,
that's a good clarification, because I was thinking.
She
the
razzed
other
me
way, so
bad.
It's okay, but it was a lot of fun. It infused. So one of the reasons, one thing that you and I talked about today, Cindy, you asked, why, what prompted this? It was the infusion of energy, excitement, team building, and the fact that everyone was in on it. Now we have a team call Saturday morning, and all of us were so excited to get on that team call. And even someone who is an associate, not highly active, but loves our product, still orders it. She even got on, and Joyce is like, well, this is nice to see her here.
Yeah. I thought it was for her birthday or something. She was just getting on.
So it was just,
and so what happened? You get on the call. Did you have a clue that you had gone bronze?
I was out painting in my bathroom. I get on this Zoom call. Jeanette's like, okay, now I'm in like scrubs because I'm painting. Jeanette says, okay, so let's take a look at the back office and let's see what's new.
I shared my screen. Right.
And I thought it was, all the announcements they've been making for the back office. I'm like, oh, good. We got another, update from corporate or something. So I'm studying the column headings. Everyone starts laughing. They're like, Joyce, it's not in the column headings.
So I zoomed in, made it a little bit bigger. I said, does anyone see anything different about their ranking?
And then it like dawned, I was brought to tears. I really was it was very loving.
Very exciting. So now congratulations on being a bronze executive.
Yep.
And of course, your next goal is to qualify to get paid as bronze every single week, right? Before you open that executive momentum pool, because when you get paid bronze 2 weeks in a row, you open the executive momentum pool and you start to earn profit sharing from the company. And you want to make sure that you're going to get paid every single week to really capitalize on that profit sharing, because that can be a very, very generous part of your check. So, I mean, a very generous part
The
of
question I have on the profit sharing, it's also focused on your PGV3, right?
No, not the
No?
executive momentum pool.
Okay.
No, that's so you get a certain amount of weeks. I think it's 12 weeks for the bronze pool. And every week that you get paid as bronze, you get a certain percentage of the company's profits. And the company always promises to pay out 50% of every dollar. And so that money is paid out back to the field, depending on the field's performance. And so if you're one of those people that's getting paid bronze that week, then you're getting your percentage of the profit sharing. So very, very exciting. And there's some strategy there too, because it's very exciting to go bronze. And, you have to be realistic as well, because we're not going to launch a product every week, right? So this was a very strategic week to go bronze, which is exciting, because people were, buying a little bit extra because everybody wanted to try this clay mask, which is on back order, by the way, which is a great problem to have, which probably means they're going to launch it globally. which the whole world, the 33 countries that we do business in, are really excited now because everybody's just bragging about this clay mask. Have you guys gotten yours and tried it? Do you like it? Do you love it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Great product. The only cell signaling clay mask in the world. So yeah, really, really, really good product. So lots of lessons here, you know, really, really exciting. And so now have you looked at your Director 300 report since it happened, Joyce? And do you have more of an awareness of how that report works and how to read that report?
Yes. In fact, today I looked at it and said, all right, I'm at 1,200 points. I better start paying attention to what I can do differently. I have the rest of the week.
There you go.
So Jeanette definitely shifted my paradigm, which I thank you, Jeanette.
You're welcome.
And now I am realizing I have to just pay attention every week.
Right. And the key is the first goal is to go Director 300 and then teach some in your team, whoever wants to go Director 300, how to do what you've just done.
Right.
And then once you help them go Director 300, you have enough of them go Director 300, you're going to go bronze, which is exactly what happened to you. Now that you've gone bronze, you know, what I would do is call your team and say, hey, thank you so much. This is so exciting. I'm now a bronze executive and I'm looking for the next person on my team that wants to go bronze. Are you in?
Yep.
And then you start working with your team, with whoever wants to go bronze on your team, to help them go bronze. And as they go bronze, you're going to go bronze again to qualify for the executive momentum pool, move into silver and gold. And so that's how this business works, is through duplication, by first doing it yourself and then teaching your team how to do what you've just done and asking. I mean, you know, unlike your corporate positions, we are nobody's boss. We have a volunteer army, right? We can't fire anybody. Well, that's kind of like your job, Joyce. You can't fire anybody, right? And we can't fire anybody either. We have to ask if, you know, does anybody want to move forward in their business? And if they do want to move forward in their business, then it's our job to help them move forward. So if Tom is excited to move forward in his business, then we need to look at his business and help him identify his Director 300 legs and make sure he has those 5 pieces that we identified in order to go bronze so that he can do what you've just done, right?
Yep.
And he has those people. I mean, they call and they want it and they're hungry. And one piece we did not mention is that Tom and the people that he's bringing in, they have network marketing experience, which is very, very, very helpful.
Yep.
So they embraced it because they love what leverage network marketing offers them. And so they really have taken this on.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's really exciting. Yeah. So you identify, you know, who's going to be at least a Director 300. You can look underneath Tom and see if there's anybody underneath Tom. They might not want to settle for Director 300. Maybe they want to go bronze instead. No problem. Right. Then if they want to go bronze, fantastic. You just look under them for who's going to be their Director 300 legs. Right. And of course they can be Director 300 and above. We don't have to cap them at their Director 300. They're welcome to go beyond Director 300 if they'd like to.
Exactly. But that does make it realistic. I was just speaking with an associate who's getting reactivated right before here. And that's what her first focus is, just getting to Director 300, starting from scratch again, if you want to say, because she's been a devout product user, but now she wants to be one of those thousandaires.
There you go. Yeah.
And the other piece to what we're talking about is that it's Cindy, you're talking about going down underneath and lifting people up. As we were going through this process, everyone, the people who had just signed on, the gentleman who just bought his entrepreneur pack and was making the phone calls, they were so excited to see what the teamwork was about. They loved that they weren't doing this by themselves. They were so excited that we were all in it together. We were our word. We told them that when they were enrolling, but then they got to see it and feel it and be it. And it really made a difference. And it still does. I mean, those people, even though that was a couple of weeks ago, they're still on fire because they know we are a team. We will be there for them.
So
if they
great.
wanna
And you,
move up.
and Jeanette, do you experience that in your corporate job?
Oh, sure.
That teamwork?
Yeah, no.
No. And Joyce, do you experience that kind of teamwork in your corporate job?
Not as effortlessly as this is.
I mean, it's people completely from all walks of life really rallying together
Oh, yeah.
to see you win. And when you win, they win. And when they win, you win. I mean, it's a win-win-win all
It's
the way.
actually what brought me back to network marketing. I took a hiatus from the last company we were all with. I was pretty burnt out. And then things happened within corporate America where I got really burnt out. And I went to the Orlando event in 2016. Jeanette will still chuckle about it. I was adamant not joining the company. I just miss my friends. Because I realize
No,
now
it was more like, no, I'm not joining.
I sat in the back row. But anyhow, here I am, and I recognize finally, I really enjoy network marketing for the community, for the social aspect, the positivity. People are always moving forward, the caliber of people we attract, because of the technology and certainly the integrity of the company and the people we affiliate with. And you don't get that in corporate America. So
Well, and
I
if some
miss it.
random guy walks up to you on a dock and asks you if you know anything about cellular health, and if you're working in the temp,
Adrenal glands on top of it.
you might not have an answer, but because you're in ASEA, you had an answer for the man. And as a result, you've been his human blessing. So, you know, there's benefits on all sides. Yeah. Very, very cool. Very cool. Well, we're almost to the bottom of the half hour. I know we don't want to get into all the reports, but I know, Jeanette, you mentioned the volume totals report. You like to use that report as well. Do you want to just talk a little bit about how you use that report?
Oh, at the time I did. You know what, when I'm in the zone, I can say one thing about reports. Take the time to play. Go in there, and that's all I did for hours and hours and hours over a span of time. I would go in, type in people's names, check in, see what's going, get familiar with your team, get familiar with their numbers, drill down, because it wasn't just Joyce's Director 300 report I was looking at. Once I knew the two people, then I went in and put their name and found their Director 300 report. That's when I began to find the names of the people who I needed to find. You will find a lot about your downline. And when you're building your organization, as Cindy and Bo knows, it gets huge. You may never meet the people that are in your group, but you can find them when you start seeing what's happening. So one piece was I didn't know enough about one of the downline, like on my 5th or 6th level. So I found them in volume totals, and that's a whole nother conversation. We could go on for hours. My point to this conversation that Cindy's wanting to make is learn your reports, play with them, and you will become so familiar. You will know what to do when the time comes. But I am a big believer in Director 300 reports and volume totals.
Absolutely. And when you go in your back office and you're looking, as Jeanette suggests you do, at the reports, whenever there's something in blue, that's a live link. That means there's more information underneath that. So you can click on that blue number and it'll reveal more information. So you can really dig in to the reports and really, understand what's going on. And remember, it's a team sport. So if you're confused, if you're not this kind of analytical person and going, oh, this just gives me a headache, then call your upline and just say, will you just look at the report for me? Tell me if there's any, or show me how to do this or something, so don't feel like, remember, you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. And there's always somebody there to help you, always somebody there to guide you. And it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. So Joyce, congratulations on being bronze. Are there any final words or any words of wisdom that you'd like to say now that you've built a bronze business, be you and your team?
Yeah, don't get yourself stuck mentally. Don't do that. Keep thinking forward. And thank you, Jeanette. I mean, you do sometimes need that person to believe in you more and see it quicker than you, but I saw how I had been stuck in a paradigm.
Yeah.
So just do yourself and break out of it however you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you guys are a complete pleasure. Twins, duplication, the best model of duplication there is, right? So Jeanette went bronze and now Joyce went bronze, and now who knows, all kinds of people are going to go bronze. So now that you've, released that energy and opened that possibility, all kinds of people will fall into that bronze possibility. Bronze.
Well, we made a video on our team call because when she went bronze, I still have to send it over to corporate, but we did it for Chuck Funky.
Oh, you did? You mean a celebration?
And Joyce has
video,
made
or-
a declaration about where she'll be by convention, and 3 or 4 of us made our own declarations because it's time. It's not a destination, bronze, as you know. It is just a stepping stone, and you build on that momentum, and your team does, and the people around you. And it's just an invigorating Ubuntu, right? Everyone wins.
Absolutely. And the people that get you to bronze are not going to be the same people that get you to silver, will not be the same people that get you to gold, will not be the same people that get you to platinum, which means you have to continually sponsor new people and help your people sponsor new people. And don't wait for people who aren't willing to do it now. Keep going and don't wait for those people that say, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Listen with your eyes. Yeah. Well, great. Congratulations, you guys. Big celebration.
Thank you.
Bo and I are going to have a left-hand stout to celebrate your success tonight. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Right.